Good morning and welcome to my craft room. I'm Ellie Barnes. Today we're doing a class for my teacup stampers. So I'm going to make sure we're going live in the correct place. We actually are not in our teacup stampers page at the moment. We are going live and it doesn't look like we are going live in the right place. Let's see. Maybe we are. Here it is. I think we are going live in the right place now. So we're here to do a class for my teacup stampers. So hopefully my teacup stampers are jumping online, getting ready to do the class. Just give me a thumbs up if you're getting ready for the class so that I know you're there and you're getting ready so that we have everything ready. Don't forget you'll need to have your snips. What else? I did send you a little note. My teacup stampers, you need to have ready some ink, some stamps, blocks. You can have a stamp mat, or if you don't have a stamp mat, grab yourself this is just out of a kit, piece of cardboard. These are in the kit, so if you've ever had a kit, they also work well. A stamp mat or a piece of cardboard, take a pick. Also just make sure you can hear me and see me as we go live. So what we're going to do first is we're going to have a look at the cards we're going to make. These cards were designed and I saw a video from Sara. Sara is the CEO of Stamping Up. She did these cards and I thought they'd be great for a class and quick and simple cards, and that's what we need. She calls them four-step cards. Four-step cards for Sara or for Stamping Up. We have a card base. We put some paper on top, some DSP, Designer Series paper. We then add on some stamps and ink. So we stamp something and we put some bling on it. So there's 4 steps in these cards. Very, very easy. Now, I have gone through and my class all should have their kits ready, standing by, and their tutorials. Because I am going to use the tutorial to explain. I'm going to go through it. This is your tutorial. If you haven't got one of these and you don't have a kit, you can watch along. But the tutorial is there to help you make the card. And it does tell you everything I've supplied on the tutorial, which is here. And then when we turn the page, it tells you what's required. And it gives you some options if you don't have exactly the right thing. Now let me show you what I'm going to be using today. And then I can show you some alternatives we have. And then we just work through the steps. It has pictures. So really, if you can't see the video or you miss the video, it'll be here for 30 days. But if you do miss it and it disappears, you can just follow the tutorial. Now, the stamps I'm using today, we might turn down to the desk. This might be easier and I can then go through it all. Disappear. Thinking about it. There you go, you've got ceiling now. I'm just getting to sit, hopefully. Let me put you down to the desk. No, I don't want any of that. Okay, I think we're coming back now. Let's see if I can get this so it's... Oh, well, we've got it. We've got it sort of. I'm not going to play with it too much. I can see the problem. Perhaps I can. That might help. Hopefully we're going to be able to get this straight and not too crooked. I don't want to put my fingers under there. These things are meant to try us, aren't they? Let's get back to what we were talking about. The class. So, in the class, I tell you, you need to have a stamp set that has a Christmas greeting or a stamp with a Christmas greeting. you need some Christmas foliage. You need some glue, some adhesive of some sort. I use the multi-purpose glue. I think it's brilliant. You can get it in many places, but it's cheaper with Stampin' Up. Also, you need some ink. I'm using Secret Sea and Old Olive. You could use navy and any green you've got, garden green, shaded spruce, granny apple green, mossy meadow. You could use black here. You could also use red, but this does need to be a green of some sort. And the stamp sets. I'm using, well, mainly these two. I'm using the Merry Christmas and a whole different ones of these, just to show you that you can do different greetings if you have them available. I could just do Merry Christmas on every one of them, but I'm not going to. And I'm going to use this piece of foliage here. But any Christmas foliage, you could use out of this one, these. You could use out of this one, that's Magic and Hope. You could use out of Keeping Traditions, just the holly, which is actually what Sara used. So also, I've said if you want to stamp inside the card, you can use anything, any phrases or greetings or verses that you may have. I'm using, there's two here that are Christmas related. These are all current sets and that's what I'm using. But the main thing you need is a Christmas greeting and some foliage. So we're going to get started. The first card we're going to do is our Merry Christmas card. So grab your kit and let's take all the pieces out. Just remember, inside your kit is some small bits of bling called the traditional sparkle sequins. There should be 3 in gold. So kit is card 1. And we'll just open it up and get your pieces out. And we'll go through what you should have. Hopefully I haven't messed up and not given someone everything, but it should be right. You should have 2 pieces of designer series paper. Now they do go together if you actually fiddle with them. Mine go this way. So they do go together, but they will be put separately on the card. You'll have an envelope, your card base, and your 3 bits of bling. Now, if your card, you notice this is just slightly out, it's slightly wider on one side, make the wider bit the front so that that little gap at the back, no one notices. So the first thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to follow the directions here, is I'm going to take my bottom piece and I'm going to glue it onto the bottom of my card with a white border all around. So we'll do that together. And that's the first piece on. And then we're going to glue the top piece on. And that's the first, well, they're the first 2 steps. I've broken this down into more steps so that it's easy to read and follow. So that's the first 2 things we need to do. We've got our designer series paper glued on. And hopefully you're all up with me on that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our greeting, and on this one I'm using Merry Christmas. So I have my greeting on my blocks. If you haven't, this is the time to get them ready. And I'm going to use Secret Sea. As I said, you could use something different. I would recommend you could use a navy, a black, a red. They're probably your best options. You don't want green because we're going to use green. Okay, I'm going a bit slower, so I'm hoping you can all keep up. I'm going to bring my stamp mat in, and if you've got a stamp mat, use that. If not, use a piece of cardboard or just do it without. But it does work better with a stamp mat. I'm going to ink up my Christmas. Now, yours mightn't be in two pieces like mine is. I'm putting mine on an angle, but somewhere in the middle here, you need to stamp Merry, your greeting. So I'm stamping Merry Christmas. And I'll put those aside. And shut my ink. So hopefully we've all got to that step. So if you're following me, that is step 2 actually. Now we've got to step 3 and we're going to stamp the foliage. Now the foliage is going to be stamped, well, I'm using Old Olive. I would suggest you use a green of some description and stamp your foliage on your card. Now I have 2 spots here that I can see I can fit my foliage. One on that side at the top and one down here at the bottom. So if you'd like to stamp your foliage, this is the step 3 we're doing. Okay, now you're still going to use your foliage and your green stamp pad or stamp pad ink. We're going to open the card and we're going to stamp inside the card because I don't like bare insides of cards. And pop it aside. And I don't like bare envelopes, as you know. Those that have been at my classes, I harp on about this. No naked envelopes or cards. Those are Shelley, who's the... Oh, there you go. You can be like me and put your finger in it. And my little comment always is, must have been the postman that made me up the mark. But remember, we're not Hallmark, we're creating a card with love. So, we've stamped our foliage, both back and front on our envelope and inside our card, as well as on the front of our card. Front of our card, inside, and back and front of the envelope. We're finished stamping for the minute. Now, the last step on this card, or the second last I'm going to do, but the last of the 4 steps is the bling. And I'm just going to place it around my words. And it's done. And that's all the steps there are on this card. It's a 4-step card, as I said. We had a card base, a designer series paper, our stamping and our bling. So if you've managed to make a card, give me a thumbs up. And while you're all finishing off, I'm going to open up my card. As I said, I like to put something inside my Christmas cards. And in this one, I'm going to use this stamp that says, "May your holiday season be filled with joy and happiness." And I'm just going to stamp that there. And that's card 1 done. So let's pop that aside, put our things back, get ready for card 2. So that's our steps done. Doing the stamping of the foliage. We've attached the sequence and the optional one of stamping inside the card. All done. Card 1. Let's go on to card 2. I like this card. This is my favourite. This is card 2. Again, I've said what you need, what I've supplied. I won't go through everything we need because we basically need exactly the same things. And then we're going to start with our card. So let's open up our card 2 kit. Now, if you don't want to follow me while I'm doing it live, you're most welcome to watch, and you can watch it on a replay and do it with the replay or just do it from the tutorials. So here's card 2. We have our envelope, our card base, our designer series paper. That is actually a rectangle of 11 centimetres by 8 centimetres, and I have just cut a diagonal off the bottom, and our bling, and this time our bling's in red. You're getting to see all the different colours of the trunks. So we'll start, this time this card goes this way. Our designer series paper right at the top here. So let's do that. As I said, this is step 1. Oh, I never had a look at what step. This is step 1 on your instructions, and it's the first step in a 4-step card, is putting the designer series paper onto the card. And that's what we're putting on the front. Now we're going to open the card, and this piece, and you'll note, sorry, this fits right up to the edges. It's designed to fit the card. And this one fits right down on the bottom. So we're going to pop that one on the bottom. So this is step 1 and 2 on the tutorial, but it's actually your first step in your 4-step card, is to put your paper on. The next step we're going to do is our greeting. So if you're following along on here, we've done step 1 and 2, which our pictures show, and glued our designer series paper on. And we're up to step 3, which is to stamp our greeting. And we'll use Secret C again. And this time I'm stamping with the same word Christmas, but I'm going to use cheer. Now you may just use the same greeting all the way through, or you may be able to swap around greetings. I didn't get that straight and it's hanging out the bottom. So I'm going to do something, because that's going to annoy me. I'm going to cut that little edge bit. This is a hint on how to do that if you do it too, and it hangs out the bottom. Turn it over and cut it against the white of the base of the card. And now it doesn't hang out anymore. So we'll bring our stamp mat in. And I'm going to stamp my Christmas on an angle. Again, to match the angle here. And then I'm going to stamp cheer. I think I'll just do it straight since it's... Oh no, I'll do it on the angle. Cheer underneath. So that's step 3. And step 4 is going to use our ink on the front of our card. So I'm just going to again pop some on that side and some on that side. So that's step 4. That's the ink part, or the second stage of 4-step cards, is applying, or actually it's the third, isn't it? Card base, paper, ink, and we're going to put bling on in a minute. But before we do the bling, while we've got our ink open, we're going to stamp inside the card. You don't have to, we've got a piece of paper there, but I'm going to stamp just there my piece of foliage. And I'm going to stamp the back and front of my envelope. Now, I often get these upside down, so hopefully I don't. I'm trying to tell myself, start at the back, so you know. Right. So, hopefully you're keeping up with me. We've got the card and envelope stamped. And the last thing we're going to do at the moment is, or the last stage of the card, if you're not doing the inside anymore, is the bling. I'll take this out for a minute so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to pop my bling again around my greeting. And that's the card done. But I am going to stamp on. And we're just going to grab, this time I'm going to grab this one. May the magic of Christmas fill each corner of your home and heart. That's lovely. And there's my greeting. So, that's our card 2 finished. I told you these would be quick. It's a card that you could use any paper. You could do something very similar and say, happy birthday, with a couple of flowers on either side. So it's not a card, it's a card, these styles of cards you can replicate in other things. So don't think you have to just have these ones or do it this way. So let's pop this tutorial away. Our third card, hopefully you're keeping up. I'm trying to go slow. Our third card is in this kit. We're doing this card. Again, everything's the same. I've given you your details of what's in your kit. I've given details of what you need to supply. I've also said before you start with this card, if you haven't got it already done, but all the kits that I sent this week have it done, for some people, if they had the equipment, I would, that's the doorbell, don't worry about that. I could let you punch it out yourself if I knew you had a punch, but I've done it because I didn't know who has what. So it says here, punch out a circle using the 2 3/8 punch. Okay, our first step is to glue the paper on. Now, it's actually the first 3 steps on this one because of the way I've written it. Just so that it's done in a form that's easy for you to read. So you've got in here 3 pieces of paper or designer series paper. They are all different. Okay, they're the backs, they're the fronts. It's too busy like that, so we're going to turn them over and we're going to do them this way. So the first thing we're going to do, put our envelope aside. We're going to take this piece of paper and we're going to glue it on to the bottom. Now, I find to get my borders around properly, I like to make sure I measure it with the other pieces on so that I know exactly where I want it to be sitting. And this is the easiest way to do it, is pop them all in the right place and then glue them one at a time on, starting at the bottom. So let's glue. And that piece just goes there. And then I'm going to glue the next piece. And yes, that is the most beautiful side, but it just is too busy. So we need to put something different on the front. And I'm just doing a squiggle down it. And then we're going to glue this piece. And if you did my mini class where we did 1 card, this is the paper we use, but now we're using this side. And that's the gluing part done. So we've done steps 1, 2 and 3 on our tutorial. Step 4 is to stamp our greeting. Now, as you can see, there's no room on there. That's why we have here our circle. I'll bring our mat in. Again, I'm using Secret C. And this one I am going to stamp the word merry or the words merry and bright. You can, as I said, use the same greeting. You can use a different greeting. But we're just stamping merry and bright. And that's our greeting stamped. Now, hope you're keeping up. If you want me to slow down, let me know, or put a thumbs up if everything's okay. We're now going to stamp with Old Olive. We're going to stamp our foliage. Now, this is step 5. So we're stamping our foliage. Now, it's a matter of where you think it fits. I'm doing mine at top and bottom, but it's where you think you can fit it nicely. Doesn't have to be a lot. I've just done a little bit there. In fact, I think I did it to the side. No, I did top and bottom, didn't I? I was going to say I did on the sample card that is to the side, but I did top and bottom. Now, if you're like me and you get a little bit of ink onto your mat, you just need to get a wipe it. If you haven't got a wipe handy, turn it over, because we don't want to get ink all over everything. Now we're going to use our stamp to stamp in. I just do top and bottom. And I usually do it this side because I find you write dear here and from here. So it gives you those places to write that. And then I'm getting my envelope and doing front and back again. Now, we're going to take our dimensionals that are supplied in this and we're going to put them on. We've got 5 dimensionals. So I'm just going to put them on north, south, east and west and in the middle. Let's come off, yep. And I'm just placing this over the top here. So, we have our card base, our designer series paper, our stamped image that this time we have placed on with dimensionals, and we're going to put our bling on. And again, it's just highlighting the top. So this time, because that's already fairly busy, I'm putting it onto the side around the paper, the circle. Again, bringing your focus into the words. Now I'm going to stamp in the middle like I have with the previous cards. I'll bring my mat in. And I'm just stamping, may your holiday season be filled with joy and happiness. So that is following through the steps here, and we've completed another card, and there it is. We're on to our last card. And this is it here. Again, you've got your card kit. Now this time I'm using all the reverse sides of the paper, just to show that each side of the paper has some great looks. So we're going to start with, out of our bag, said all the same, we've got what I've supplied, what you need. On the instructions on this one, before starting, die cut a label. Now all the kits have gone out with the label die cut for them. Okay, so if you had your own labels, it's something you could do yourself, but they've all gone out with the labels die cut. So step 1 down here, we're going to do the gluing. So let's sort our pieces out. We have 2 pieces of designer series paper. We have a ribbon. We have some dimensionals for our label, and we have some bling. We have our card front and our envelope. So the first thing we're going to do is take our piece of designer series paper and place it on the center, glue it onto the center. So we're doing the first step of in this is to glue the paper on. And try and get it straight. The second step will be to glue this piece of paper on. And we're just going to glue this on here. Right, they're the first 2 steps. The next step is we're going to put this ribbon on. Now, You can use glue, but it doesn't sit very nice with glue. You can use glue dots, that will work. Wet glue, I mean. It doesn't sit very nice. You can use glue dots or tear and tape. I'm going to use tear and tape, and I'm going to show you a trick. I'm not going to cut the end. Oh, actually, I need to cut the ends first. I'm just going to cut them on an angle. I want them both cut the same way. And it's nice if I can get it straight. So this is what you need your snips for. It does look better if they're both cut on the same diagonal, not opposites. So you can see it's cut with the point on opposite ends. I'm then going to pop this on my, you can do this on a table. It has to be something firm. You can't do it on your stamp mat, and you can't do it on your, on paper or anything. If you've got one of these are the, I don't know what they call them now. They're little silicone mats that Stampin' Up has. You can use the glass here, but I'll show you how this works perfect on silicone. As your ribbon, stick it on. You can, as I said, do it on the glass mat or on your bench. Peel off, leaving the sticky down. Place your ribbon on top of the sticky. Rub it on. And then I use my pick, but oh look, this one's coming up perfectly. It's a little bit harder. You've got to get it started when pulling it off the table or the mat or the glass mat. But on the silicone mats, it's fabulous. And then you can pop this down the centre. And it's so easy to stick on. It is nicer if you get it straight, Ellie. It's not too bad, but it wasn't quite straight. That's a bit better. So that's how I do my ribbon. And that's got on our paper and our bling. Now we're going to do some stamping. So we're going to bring our stamp mat in. I'm going to stamp my greeting onto here. Now that means we've finished, let's go on back to our tutorial. We've done steps 1, 2 and 3. We're up to step 4, stamping our Christmas greeting. And we're stamping it on the die cut. So I'm using again the word Christmas. And this time I'm going to use the word happy. So ink up Christmas. Or whatever your greeting is. Oh, I did it crooked. I wasn't going to, but I did. Doesn't matter. It's not Hallmark. And then I'm going to put happy around here. And that's my greeting. So hopefully you've been able to stamp your greeting. We're going to bring in our old olive ink or green ink and our foliage. And I'm going to stamp it just on the end there. What I'm going to do, and this is something you can do, is you can use the back of your tutorial if you want. See, and that way I won't get it on my stamp pad. And then I'm going to, oh, I need to do the other side, Ellie. I'm going to stamp it at the top as well. So it's just got a little hint of foliage there. And that's what we're putting on the greeting. Again, no naked envelopes, no naked insides of the cards. We're going to take our foliage stamp and stamp inside the card again. And we're going to stamp our envelope. And that's done. That's all our stamping done for the class. We'll get rid of our mat. So we've got our stamping done inside the card on the envelope. We've stamped our label. I've given you 6 dimensionals to put on the back of your label. So we'll do that now. And we'll peel them off. And we're going to place this on here like so. And then we're just going to take our bling, our traditional, what were they? Traditional sparkle sequins in green, and we're just going to place them again onto our card around our greeting. And it's done. Now, hopefully you've been able to follow through, and as I said, all the steps are here. I'm going to do the last step, which is optional, which I'm going to stamp a Christmas verse inside. And again, I'm going to use Secret C. And we'll stamp this one. May the magic of Christmas fill each corner of your home and heart. And then that's done. And the card is finished. Card 4 is all finished too. So, our cards today, let's have a look. Today we've done card 1. That will do. Card 2, all the envelopes are the same. Card 3 and card 4. So hopefully you've been able to enjoy stamping along with me and doing the stamping. Our final thing today I wanted to tell you about is an optional class that's coming up. It's going to have no live to follow, but it will come with a tutorial. Each of these cards are made in the same way as the other card. So it'll have one tutorial for all the cards. This class again, it has matching envelopes. So if I put these out, you can't see them that way, we'll do them this way. They're the cards. There's no stamping. It has matching envelopes. So we've got the matching envelopes down here. It's just a matter of using dimensionals. You don't need to have glue with you. Everything will be supplied in this kit. It'll have the card bases and their matching envelope. It'll have the ribbon that you need to tie. It will have dimensionals that you put these layers on with, and it will have the bling. So it's a note, and these ones that don't have the greetings printed on, they will come with greetings that you just that are on a sticky back already. So it's no glue, you need no equipment. This is all supplied for you. Everything that you need will be in the kit, and it will have a tutorial. You just need to use the one tutorial to follow through for all 4 cards, because they're all the same. Just different colours, different images. So hopefully you'd like to do that one too. As I said, it's a good, quick, fun Christmas card set, and it means that if you've done both classes, you will have completed 8 cards ready for Christmas. All right, I'm going to pop you back here. Let's swing back around. This class will be available straight away. There will be another class, there will be another class coming out for November. I will advertise that. But to join in and be part of it as of the November class, it will not be on this page. It will be on my Teacup Stampers page. So if you want to do the classes and you want to see the classes and be involved with my Teacup Stampers, you need to let me know and I will organise for you to join. But that page is just so that we can run some classes and keep in touch with each other and show off what we've created. If you've made your cards today, or even if you're going to make them later, please let me know. Show me, pop them on so I can see them, so everyone else can see what you've created. I'm really interested to see how you've managed, if you haven't had the same stamp set, what your cards look like, because they'll look different to mine and they'll look probably more fabulous. So I'm looking forward to seeing everyone's cards. Make sure you pop them onto the Teacup Stampers page. All right, well, I'll look forward to catching up with you all next time. I will be here on Saturday, but next time we do a class will be on the Teacup Stampers page, and that will be late November. Okay, you all have a lovely, lovely week. Enjoy the sunshine. I hope you've got a sunshine like we have. Enjoy it, and I'll catch up with you soon. Bye-bye.